take from my bed to the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Will today be rough or will today be great? 9, 10, 11, 12. Lately I've been going through hell. 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's the day. Are you coming? Are you sick of being normal? I'm sick of being average. I'm sick of being mortal. I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want, I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that coal just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others make changes. I'll be so bold, they will watch in amazement.
Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, you take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, you take it.
Foot up on the pedal, pushing hard to the metal. Make a deal with the devil. Channel rage through my vessel into something that is special. Energy of a rebel, going up a level. I just wanna be greatness. I could feel changes, turn a new page and tie up my laces. I will be the bravest, break out of my cages. I will not be nameless, I will not be aimless.
Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, you take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, you take it.
You are now live with the Locked In Podcast. As always, your hosts for the evening, Steve Ushler and George Menchai. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to turn notifications on to stay up to date with the most current personal development tips and sports analysis. With that being said, welcome to the podcast and enjoy the show.
All right, as you guys heard, welcome to the podcast. Enjoy the show. We are back, guys, back with the Locked In Podcast, episode 167, 167. Crazy to feel that it's been, that far already. Like 33 episodes away from like 200. Something crazy like that. But I want to welcome you guys back to the show. And I would also want to welcome back in special guest, good friend of mine, long-term friend, Frank Chiarella. Frank, what's going on, brother? Welcome back in. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, all good, Steve. Good to be back.
Yeah, man. Dude, it's always good. The last episode we did, I was just talking to Frank, like we were just talking before we did this whole thing. It's either been like 2-3 years since the last time he came on, guys. Frank, we talked about 70s and 80s, like rock. I think maybe some 90s in there too. But guys, you can go back and check. I'll have to get the actual episode number for you. But it was a fun time last time you were on, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself. Went by quick.
Yeah, man. Time really flies, man. I'll tell you what. Like, it's crazy. Like, I was just thinking, I was like, I know you had like your birthday thing. Like, I was like, just thinking, man, it's almost been a year. Like, it's almost already the summer of 2024. Time is just flying.
Yeah. I just remember when I did that podcast with you, whenever it was, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I just remember, what am I going to talk about? And before I know it, it's been almost an hour. I'm like, oh, wow. I guess I did a good job for today.
Yeah, man. No, time flies. Like, people always think that when they're like new to a podcast, like it's like a little nerve wracking sometimes for some people. Like, they come on, they're like, "What are we going to talk about?" But time just flies because I feel like most podcasts, it's just very free flowing. It's not like a job interview or anything like that. It's just you come in, It's free flowing, and when you're having a good time and good conversation, I feel like that just flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So excited to get into this one today, guys. What we're going to be talking about is Frank is a Philly police officer. Obviously, times are tough now in Philadelphia, so it's going to be interesting. We're going to talk to Frank essentially about what kind of got him into the police force. We'll talk about, a little bit of his backstory, and then, maybe some interesting stories. What it's kind of like just being a Philadelphia police officer. I know I talk to Frank a lot, but like I'm kind of interested myself to kind of hear, you know what I mean? And some people have actually like talked about this. They're like, with all the stuff that's kind of going on in Philly, if you know anybody that's like a police officer. So it's funny. Me and Frank had already been talking about like him coming back to the podcast, and I was like, this actually be a good topic to kind of cover. So I'm interested to talk about this tonight, man, and glad to have you back on.
Yeah, glad to be back.
Yeah, man. So we'll get into it in a second. I also just want to make the announcement. George is not going to be on tonight. So in our typical announcement, it says me and George the host. George isn't going to be on tonight. It's just going to be me as the host and just me and Frank here tonight. And I was just saying, I think that was how it was last time you came on too. I don't think George was here. So yeah, so we'll get into that in a second. Have a comment in here. It says, "Let's go. Thank you, Frank, for serving the community, staying safe out there." And always, so thank you to who the comment was. I always like to check. So if you see my phone out, because it just kind of logs people in here as Facebook user. YouTube shows the name, but so it's actually my boy Corey. Corey, what's up, brother? Yeah, he wrote in and said, "Thank you, Frank, for serving the community. Stay safe out there." So thanks, Corey. Thanks for the comment, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Now Frank's a real one. So guys, before we hop into it, I just want to say if you're watching on YouTube, you like what you're watching. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to turn notifications on. We release new episodes every single week, typically around personal development or sports, but we do have other episodes too. We're not really super niche focused, so you don't want to miss it if you're interested in anything like that. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm assuming you're already part of the Facebook group, so thank you for that. If you like what you're watching, hit the like button. And as you saw Corey comment down there, feel free to comment in with any thoughts you may have. Maybe you're an officer out there too, so feel free to comment in. I know me and you, we know people who are also Philly officers, kind of mutual friends and stuff. So if anybody's watching out there, feel free to comment in tonight. And also just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast. So that being said, man, I'll start the conversation here, man. So Philadelphia police officer, I think you officially graduated the academy. Was it the summer, like towards the summer of 2016?
I think that's when I started.
The academy. Okay.
I think I graduated the spring of 17.
Okay.
So the academy was about 8 or 9 months, give or take.
Okay. So I guess like lump summed all together with the start of the academy and everything like that. You've been essentially almost doing this crazy, man. To even think like almost 8 years, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Far from a full decade.
Time flies, man.
Yeah. Because some days, some people I work with, if I have a few more years with them, they're like, "Oh, Frank's a veteran." I'm like, I don't have that much more. There's people with a lot more time than me.
Yeah, it's like don't nah, yeah, it's like don't make me feel that old yet.
Yeah.
So man, just ultimate backstory, man. Like what kind of led you to kind of want to join the force, man, and become like a Philadelphia police officer, or just become a police officer in general?
I guess I always had an interest in the field. I guess when I was 12 years old, I had to write a paper about something, and I don't know how I came across it. I said, let me do a paper on the FBI, and I would do my research. I knew you needed a college degree, and one of them was criminal justice. And that's what kind of led me into that field. So when I graduated high school, I went to community college for a criminal justice degree, and because at the time you needed a 2-year degree to get in the Philadelphia Police Academy. So I went to college for 2 years, and then when I was going through the police process, I was getting letters from Chestnut Hill College to go for my bachelor's degree. So I was waiting because the process took about a year and a half for me to join. So just when I went into the accelerated program. So each class was 6 weeks long for Chestnut Hill. So by the time I got into the academy, I was just finishing college to get my bachelor's.
Okay. Wow, man. Yeah, I think when I first met you, I think it was 2013, and I think when I first met you too, you had told me you were interested, like already, kind of in joining the police force and everything like that. So we had talked about that, and I think do you have a family that were also on the force as well?
Yeah, I don't think I have any other family right now, but my grandfather was a police officer during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So, and yeah, some things have changed and some things haven't changed with the department at the time. So I have that connection with my grandfather. And so, um, so yeah, so he always has stories, from like nearly the 30 years that he was on the job. He was a police officer. He didn't rank up or anything. And he did a couple districts that he was in. So he was in, you know, as I dealt with riots back in 2020, he was dealing with them during the 60s.
Wow, man. I just want to say, thank you for your service, Frank, and also thank your grandfather too, man. It's tough out there, man, especially with the riots and stuff like that. I can't even imagine, during 2020, whole other thing, but all the stuff with the riots and everything, man, it takes a lot of patience. A lot of patience.
It was something. It was, how would you say, pretty bad, but also interesting to see. I'll word it that way. You got to see some things that you may never thought you've seen before.
I can imagine it's until you're like kind of put into that spot, you're not really gonna expect or there's gonna be a lot of things you probably didn't expect. I can just imagine, but man, just thank you for your service, man. I remember because you would tell me like I think when all that was kind of going on, I think you were working like a lot of doubles, a lot of extra hours, a lot of overtime. I'm sure.
Yeah, when it started in the beginning of the summer, it was at least 12 hours, at least, and at least 2 weeks straight. All days were canceled off. Most days you would be downtown on foot. So yeah, that's how it was for at least 2 weeks. Some people had to do it more because when that started, that whole incident, it was my first day back from my 2 days off or from my weekend. But people that were already working earlier that week, they made it work close to 20 days or something like that.
Wow. So like no days off almost, essentially, like for like almost a month.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. It's like such a tough time, but I was like also I was gonna say so you were saying on foot there, when you first got started being an officer, did you start on did you start on foot? Were you like on bike? I know there's like differences like for people like depending on like maybe the district or whatever. Did you start on foot?
Yeah, so when I graduated, you spend 5 weeks in a car with other officers. And this is how it was at the time. I don't know how they do it now because I don't think we have the whole foot beats anymore, at least not in the districts I'm in anymore. But yeah, so at the time, you did 5 weeks in a car with veteran officers, and then you would go on foot beat, with someone from your class and walk the foot beat for your shift. And that I did that for 6 months. And some people, and every officer that you asked that did it, like there were some officers who never did it. Some officers who did it for 6 months, like me. Some did it for 3 months. And then there were some who did it for 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
So
Wow,
it really varied from when you graduated and what class you were in at the time.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So to say, yeah. So throughout the time, like you've kind of been like, I know Philly has its own problems and everything, but if there had been any like positive connections you made, maybe it was through the job, maybe civilians, or maybe just like people you've worked with, like anything like that.
When people ask me that, I usually at least one thing pops into mind, which was one time we got a call about a child walking around, and he was. I think we found him just walking around in other people's homes. It turned out he had disabilities. So we didn't know what to do with him first. Then we got calls from radio saying that there's a missing child report further down the street or a couple blocks away. And we brought him home. And to me, that kind of made me happy. We brought a child with disabilities back to his home when he was lost.
Wow, man, that's incredible. That's incredible. It's like the type of things that make it it makes you appreciate like kind of why you kind of went into the work that you went into and became an officer. I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Through like working, have you worked with like anybody you already had known, or just like worked with anybody who like had like an impact on your life? I think I met like he's not your partner anymore, but one of your partners before. He was a pretty cool guy. Any like positive connections like on the force that you met?
Yeah, I made great friends over the years, and I still am. From time to time, I meet up with people after work, whether it's just to go out have drinks. Quite recently, someone messaged me to go to the Phillies game like a month from now or something like that. I told him I think about it. I got to check the schedule and all that because it's always tough to meet other people, especially even with you over the years. Like we'll make plans. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm working that night. I
Yeah,
either got to request off or we got to plan something different because usually friends and family, if you want to hang out with them, they kind of have to know what your schedule is because in a way you kind of marry the job. And I'm not saying that the job makes who you are, but you can't take off every Saturday and Sunday. Like I work most Saturdays and Sundays, so I think I get a weekend off every 2 or 3 months, give or take. I might have 2 or 3 Saturday Sundays off, and then I'm back to working Saturday Sunday or Saturday Sunday night.
exactly. Yeah, man. It's taught. It's essentially it becomes a lifestyle. It's not like a typical like 9 to 5 job where you're off on the weekends and stuff like that, and you kind of set things up. Like schedule kind of varies, and you're a police officer. You're serving the community, so you have to be available as it is. You guys do you guys get PTO or anything like that, or like paid time off?
Oh yeah. During the summers, we have to put it way in advance.
Gotcha.
So I am having 2 weeks off during the summer, so that's nice. I never had 2 weeks off before. But yeah, we had to put him in like December or January, those requests. And it goes by seniority, what week you want and all that. But yeah, so I don't know what I have planned for the summer, but I'll figure something out.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. It's definitely different because I knew some people, they can put their time in like a week or two, and what is the typical? They say 2 weeks in advance, give 2 week notice when you're going to put in your time. But yeah, it's it kind of reminds me. It's different, definitely different. Obviously, completely different careers, completely different jobs. But I remember even working in a supermarket back in the day. I think like ShopRite, they would make you put it in like 5 months in advance, 4 months in, but something crazy. Larry can actually attest, our friend Larry, he can actually attest to that too because it was. But yeah, I used to hate that. But I can like you said, it's a lifestyle. It's you marry the job. It's how it is, and you know what I mean.
Not just you, but your spouse and your family, because if they want to plan something for you, they need to know your schedule.
Yep. Exactly. And that's something maybe some people don't really, think about if they're not related to somebody who is a police officer, they might not think about that, but it's good to know for sure. Yeah, no, it's like you said, it's not just you, it's your family and everything around it too, and then once you're involved as an officer, your family is too, because essentially you're putting your life on the line. God willing, the main goal is to make it home, every single day. You never know. That's why I have so much respect for people who are in law enforcement, people in military. You know what I mean? I know in Philly, there's positives, but there's a lot of crap we deal with too.
Yeah, it's like day or night, black or white, 0 to 100. You're gonna have a good day or you're gonna have a not so good day. It's what I tell people.
Yep, it's essentially you don't know what you're walking into every single day. Unpredictable. You can't predict what's going to happen. Corey actually commented back in. He said, "Is there any other job you'd want to do inside the department?"
I think about that from time to time.
Yeah.
I'm currently happy where I'm at right now. I like the officers that I work with because I recently went from one district to another district. I just did it for the commute because I was on the other side of the city.
Yeah.
So now the ride's better, but sometimes I think about detective or sergeant. I know there was a sergeant exam not too long ago, so I'll get it the next time. It's usually every few years when the new promotion exams come out. Sometimes I think about unit like SWAT, but you have to be a really good shot. So I guess I have some some practice to do.
Hey man, it's like I guess you can always there's always time. So you know what I mean. That's cool. I know. Yeah, I know. Me and you have like I think talked about that sometimes behind the scenes because you had maybe some aspirations of things you want to grow and maybe move up in some areas. I think you thought about FBI at one point too, right? You were thinking
Yeah, when I was a kid,
younger.
I thought about it. It's really hard to get into. Like their test is really really hard. Um, so but if I was working for the federal government, I have to live from either here to California, away from friends and family. So I guess I'm happy being here locally.
That's cool. Yeah, and I never even thought about that. I knew the test was hard. I didn't know what the living situation was and everything like that. Very interesting. Um, if there was anywhere is there any like if you ever had interest of maybe working outside of Philly or anything like that, maybe the surrounding areas, anything like that. Being an officer in Philly for about 8 years, like you ever thought about branching out?
I have, but I think I'm set on where I'm at right now. So I don't think I'll be making any moves anytime soon. So I think I know other over the years, many officers will try to get into another department, which uh, departments outside the city are much difficult to get in because they may only have 20 officers and they may only need one or two guys. So when 100 people apply, the chance is very small. So, but as of right now, I think Philadelphia would be my entire career. So, and I'm okay with that, or I'm pretty happy with that.
That's good, man. That's as long as you're happy, man. You're content with what you're doing. That's great, man. Not everybody says they can work a job, where they're happy at and everything like that. And that's incredible, man. Again, man, thank you for your service.
Oh,
Appreciate it,
you.
brother. Appreciate it, brother. So throughout your time, has there been like any crazy like stories you've had? Like I know me and you have talked behind the scenes in the past and stuff. Any like crazy like stories like that you have? Like could be recent, could be from when you first started, somewhere in the middle that just come to mind.
I guess I'll. Yeah, you're probably already aware of this story when I first got on the job. First year where I had to get out and chase someone and I got injured. You probably remember the little injury that I had at the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. It
Yep.
was one of the first times I had to chase someone, so I'm like, this is fun. But then I got hurt, and then I'm like, oops. So
Yeah. No. I remember. I remember that. You had was that when you had the black eye from it? I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Lewis had made a joke or something. He's like, I had to keep him in check or something.
Yeah. Everyone likes to crack their jokes about that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Now Lewis is working overseas in the military. If you're watching, what's up, man?
Hey, buddy, gotta come home.
Candace had commented in and she said that's a good guy right there. And she said and she's Candace. I don't. Yeah, you remember Candace from your wedding?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah,
Candace. Good to see you again.
Yeah. And then she said, thank you for your service as well. Yeah, man. It's just I can't imagine it's funny, I actually thought about being an officer maybe at one point. Remember me and you talked about this like years ago or whatever. It never wound up materializing. I wound up kind of going into finance and everything after I graduated Temple. But I mean, to be honest, like you have to really, I would say to become a police officer, and you can probably agree with this, you have to really just be willing to sacrifice. Like, you know what I mean? You have to, it's serving and protecting. And I feel like if you're not really probably invested, and you're just there for the paycheck, it's probably not, I don't want to say maybe not long-term career, because there might be people that can do it, but you're not really going to be happy. Am I right? If you're not truly invested.
Yeah. With this type of job, yeah, you can always have a different assignment any day, work with a different partner, or be by yourself. Some people might, want things a certain way. Over the years, I learned to be a little bit more open-minded. You're gonna have to deal with all walks of life. whether it's working with someone or dealing with someone on the streets. So, so you just got to keep it open minded and just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's the thing. Like, you have to be open minded in order to work a career like that. Number one, if you're really regimented and stuff like that, not like if you're really regimented and you just want like certain days, like even if it comes to your work schedule, you're not going to have that in police force. It's going to kind of vary. Like, but you said like you get certain days on, certain days off, so you can maybe put your schedule to that. But in terms of unpredictability, when you go into your shift every day, you don't know what you're going to expect. It's not everything is predictable. Like in some careers, your time off, you're not going to have. You have to put it in advance. You're not going to be able to just take it off 2 weeks in advance and stuff like that. So you have to be, I would say, yeah, no, open-minded is probably the perfect word for that. Like if you're gonna work a career in the police force, like just from hearing how you described it, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So outside of Philly PD, was there anything like related maybe to military or anything before that maybe you thought about before kind of getting into? I know the answer, but just for other people out there, have you ever thought about anything military before becoming an officer?
Yeah, I would. While I was going to college, I would sometimes think about the military as well. I would constantly go back and forth. I spoke to a Navy recruiter in the past, maybe a Marine recruiter, but they didn't work out. So I just joined the military, and it seemed like it worked out in my favor ever since. Because you and I both know people that joined the military. I always had that interest. I guess I was always fascinated with the uniforms and I guess the camaraderie amongst people in that field. So I guess I wanted to be part of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's just kind of building like a bond. It's almost like I guess in the police force, it's kind of like an army of one. You're all kind of fighting for the city. You know what I mean? Everything's kind of, you know what I mean? It's kind of built that way in the military too, where they call it an army of one. It's like one of like everybody kind of coming together to protect the country. So protecting the city, protecting the country. It kind of goes hand in hand. It's just the same idea. But that's cool, man. Yeah, I know me and you talked about the Navy before and everything like that. But you know what? You found your calling, it seems like here, and everything works out for a reason. You know what I mean? I think you had said you were like so close to signing that favor and like you didn't wind up signing like for the Navy, right? And like it all worked out that you're here where you're at today.
Yeah. I wasn't thrilled what they were offering at the time because I went through all the testing of that. And then it started snowing out, and then they had to close the facility. So they said you had to sign later in the week, which I didn't. So I don't know. Some people say, maybe that was a sign.
Yeah, exactly. A sign, not a sign from above, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this comment here. Let's see. Yeah, George actually commented, and he said the city is lawless, though. Frank, good luck and good work, bud. Be careful out there.
Yeah, thanks, George. I take it one day at a time.
That's all you really can do, right, man? So that was a crazy story from like the beginning when we were just discussing. Do you have any like recent, like anything crazy that happened recently? I know you've transferred districts recently. I won't disclose, your district or anything or where you transferred from, but anything crazy like since you've been in this new district?
I might have been in one or two full pursuits where I had to back up another officer and help them find a suspect that they were looking for, and that's always fun to get into stuff like that.
Yeah, how do you like it so far compared to? I know you like the commute a lot better. I know that for sure. How do you like it compared to your previous district where you were working?
I like it. I just feel like maybe the morale's a little better.
Yeah.
So I think where I was, was kind of far away. So I think my mood got a little better. It seemed like the manpower is a little better. So when you have a little bit more manpower in one area, the work doesn't seem as much.
Oh yeah. I can. That's true. Yeah, no, it's like any job. If everything's kind of thrown onto you, it's the morale's definitely going to be down a lot. So, that's cool, man. I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy that you got a little bit closer, man, for sure. And I know the neighborhood where that's at isn't exactly perfect, but I'm assuming it's probably a little bit better than like where you were previously.
It's probably about the same.
Really similar?
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
It's only been a couple of months. Maybe another year or two, I could probably give off a better answer on that. So I guess you can bring me on a year from now, and I'll talk about more about that.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. Maybe we can get like a few people on here, like officers, other people that you know and stuff. Too. There's people that me and you know. Obviously, they're officers. That'd be interesting. Get a whole little episode on it. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. George commented, and he said the people want to hear some RoboCop stories.
Oh.
I think he's just joking around, but
Yeah.
nah,
I guess one of the craziest instances would be the whole 15th Street. I did respond to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a couple. What was that? Back in 2019.
Yeah, I think so.
I was 20 minutes away. I was on the other side of the city, but
Oh,
half my district responded to that anyway. Hear the loud gunshots go off from the house. I didn't even know what house it was coming from because by that point there must have been a few hundred, maybe 1,000 of us just standing on one corner. So,
shit, man, wow! I didn't know you. I didn't know you were had to be involved in that. I don't. I think that's the first time I heard that. Wow, man.
yeah, I thought I mentioned it, but
maybe you did. Maybe you did.
yeah, it's been at least 4 or 5 years. But
Yeah, going on like 5 years almost.
yeah, I remember the next day I was watching TV because when I looked on my phone later at night, it was all over the news. I think it made world news. I had relatives in other countries contacting me, be like, "Hey, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah. No, it's So I mean, you could probably explain. So, what kind of happened with that 15th Street thing? What was the whole like thing behind it again?
I think narcotics was trying to serve a warrant, and the suspect started shooting back. And several officers, they got minor gunshot wounds. So I think it was like 7 or 8 officers. So that turned into a citywide assist. Because I remember they made the announcement on my radio band because we all use different radio bands over the radio, but they recorded and played back on my band. And I looked at my partners, is we going? And dispatch already told us that, yeah, we're going. Didn't even ask us.
Wow.
So, and then he says, put it in your GPS because we had no idea where we're going. But then we saw other cars going. So I'd had the GPS and we just followed the other vehicles. And then we're on 76. You must have had 20 cop cars on 76 on I don't know, was it around 5 o'clock in the afternoon? All the cars moved out of the way. My partner's like, it's like watching the sea split because all the cars just moved out of the way just like that. And, what should have been a 40-minute ride ended up only being 20 minutes, just how fast we were driving just to get there.
Man, I can only imagine the adrenaline. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was, especially at first. When you first arrive, because I had no idea what was going on or where to be at.
Can only imagine, man. Can only imagine. So George he said, what part of the city you work, Frankie? That's up to you if you want to disclose that at all or anything like that. You don't have to if you don't want to.
I started out in Southwest, and then now I'm a little bit up north now.
Yep. He moved north, and now he's closer to where like he lives now. So closer this way, man. It's interesting to know that, like, I mean, like you said, you've been there a couple months, but it's interesting to know that it's sort of similar in terms of crime. I know up this way, it's getting a lot worse. It's getting a lot worse. It's not what it used to be. I feel like in the 90s, early 2000s, a lot of the crime, I think, you could probably speak on it, is like shifting up this way more towards. So everybody knows, I live in the Northeast. So just coming up north, like past, Northeast and everything like that. Like, I just think it's a lot of things are just shifting. Obviously, everybody knows North Philly, big drug problems. And then I know on the outskirts of Northeast Philly too, with Levittown and stuff, there's like a lot of drug problems and stuff. And I'm seeing a lot of crime up in Levittown now. I don't know if you saw, there was the one, I mean, it was different. It's not really related, but the one guy that like beheaded his dad on like a live stream. Do you remember that? It happened like, I think a couple months ago. He like beheaded his father on like a live stream and then fled to like, they found him in like Harrisburg. Like,
I don't remember that. I don't watch news too often these days. I know, speaking of the news, I know some cops, we don't really care to watch news anymore just because, I guess maybe because we always deal with negative situations and we don't want to be watching TV and deal with seeing negative situations all the time. Because I don't really watch news like that anymore.
Yeah, to be honest, I would have never watched it, but then like people at my work like bring it up. They're like, "Oh, did you hear about this?" Yeah, I don't watch the to be honest watch the news at all myself. You know, I more so read like the Wall Street Journal and stuff like that. Because the news it can be depressing, man. I mean, right? It can be very depressing. You know, and like you said, you already see a lot of stuff already working. I can only imagine. It would be like an athlete watching like listening to sports radio or watching ESPN and hearing all the negativity talked on them and stuff. You know, if I was an athlete, I would never ever watch Sports Center. Like to hear what's like going on. Like,
there's been a couple times where I'm like, oh, the news was on location when I was here. I wonder if I can get a glimpse of myself. There might be one time I saw myself from a distance, but you wouldn't have been able to tell it. I was just reading the comment at the bottom. I know there was one time where I saw myself from a distance, but it was so far away that you couldn't be able to tell who it was. And there's been other times where I'll be standing next to someone, but I get cut off. Like I was just right outside the view of the camera. And I'll be like, they just missed me.
That's funny. That's funny, man. Yeah, George said it's gotten worse. Steve, you're right. And he said, I remember that case. He said, I remember that case. I just want to make sure I got it right. So it's George. He said, I remember that case. Yeah, the news are negative as heck these days. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he said, they put you in one of the worst at first. Southwest Philly is terrible. But like you said, where you work now, it's like, at least from what you've seen, it's sort of similar. Because you were Southwest Philly, you were probably not far from the airport, right? Like down that way, like Island Avenue and stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm familiar with those areas.
Yeah. I think I had applied. Remember, I think I told you years ago. I think I had applied for like a job at a bank down there, and I think I was right in your district at the time.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. You were probably like 2 or 3 blocks down from it.
Yeah, crazy. I couldn't even like park my car on the street down there. I had to because I like didn't trust it. I parked into like a lot where I had to pay, and I was just going for a job interview. So it was like funny. I was just like, yeah.
Parking would be tough in some of those spots.
Yeah, definitely. There's like a Wawa down there on Island Avenue. It's probably not far from your district. It's right near like the Philly airport, Philly International.
Yep. Yeah. Just maybe you drive another mile, you'll be in Delco.
Yeah. Delco for all the Philly people and for people not in Philly slang. Because I know we have some people here that watch us from like California and like other spots. So anybody who's like not from Philly, Delco means Delaware County. So it's like Del for Delaware, Co for county. So we just call it Delco, like Upper Darby, Darby in general, Drexel Hill, all that area.
Yaden.
Exactly, Ridley, all that stuff. But that's interesting, man. Yeah, no, it's and then I would say like I don't know if there's a specific spot of Philly where crime is just the worst. You know what I mean? I always thought living up in Northeast Philly, this was like the nicest, but now even stuff's coming up this way. North Philly has its own problems. Everybody knows Kensington and Allegheny, big drug epidemic going on.
Yeah, there's down there. It's like if you drive like a really long down a long street like Frankfurt Avenue or Germantown Avenue, like streets that go from one end of the city to the other, you'll see how like it almost feels like you're in different cities at time where one part might be up and coming, the other part maybe not. So the city, it almost doesn't matter what part of the city you work in, you'll experience a little everything.
Yeah, Frankfurt Avenue is actually a really good point. Frankfurt Avenue extends like I don't know how far it extends, but like I've gone up as far as like where Tullytown is, like all the way up in the suburbs. That's not really Frankfurt Avenue at that point, but it's the same road. It just becomes Bristol Pike, and when you go all the way down, it becomes Frankfurt Avenue. Once you hit like Morel, and then Frankfurt Avenue can take you all the way down, and that becomes eventually like Kensington Avenue, or does it become? I think it does. It becomes Kensington eventually, right? It merges. Yeah. So it's still Frankfurt, but you can actually go merge right off of Frankfurt onto Kensington Avenue. It'll take you right under Kensington and Allegheny, and you can just see the different sides of the city just riding down Frankfurt Avenue. So if you're not ever from Philly, I mean, I don't ever encourage you to go into bad areas, but if you ever really wanted to see like how like the neighborhood shift, you're absolutely right. You go down one of those long roads, you'll see from one end to the other of how things shift.
Yeah, you could do like a grand tour.
Exactly. It's like one big road that goes all the way through. Yeah, and then you have even the city, like Center City, is I feel like I I don't know if there's like one area that like is like less crime ridden than the other. Would you even this because even like Center City where people used to go like a lot of tourist spots in the city and everything, even that's getting bad now. Like you have to be careful at night for sure. There's just so much stuff that goes on. So that's why I said I got even more respect, man. For where you work, in Philadelphia and everything, man. It can't be super easy. I'm sure some days are better than others, but massive respect, man.
Yeah, when people ask me, how do you like it? I say, I like it. I want to say I'm like hardcore crazy, but I don't hate it. I enjoy what I do, and same thing. And as I said to people before, just one day at a time. Some days are good, some days are not as good. Because overall, I would say I don't really have a true bad day as long as I'm going home at the end of the day and I'm not too stressed out. I take that as a win for me.
Exactly, man. You're going home to your family at the end of the day, and that's to the positive, man. And you're doing a good thing. You're out here, helping protect and serve this community and this city. At the end of the day, it's a job that essentially it's rewarding, right? Like it makes you feel good because you're doing something. You're doing a great thing.
Yeah, it very is. So yeah, if you, as I said, if you like I talk about 15th Street or the riots, that is something worth remembering. That is an experience. So sometimes afterwards, like, oh wow, I've been through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's crazy to think. I can't believe that was almost 5 years ago. As George was saying, he remembered that case, and yeah, no, yeah, even like the surrounding areas now, it's like I was saying the one thing happened in Levittown, and there was something else recently. It was
Some type of shooting happened in Falls Township or something like that.
yeah, exactly, like down that way. It's crazy. It's like, and I forget what that was, but it was something where I think somebody was killed. There was like a manhunt for like the guy, and they found him too. Yeah, so it's like crime doesn't always pick and choose an area. You know what I mean? It can happen really anywhere, but it's crazy. It's just it's just getting worse and worse, man. But
Yeah, I think I read a quote somewhere. It said there's nothing wrong with the streets, or it's the streets are safe. It's the people that make them not safe.
exactly. That's why, like, when it comes to like, it was something with like people who try to, ban guns and stuff like that. I always tell people, I'm like, if you ban guns, you're only taking a gun out of the hands of a person who's a law-abiding citizen. You're not taking it out of the hands of a criminal. Criminal doesn't follow the law anyway. If there's a will, there's a way. They'll obtain a gun.
Yep, the firearm's just a tool.
Exactly. It's the people who utilize them who are the ones who, you know what I mean, are using them for either a good thing, to protect, to hunt, whatever they're doing, or for legal purposes, bad intentions. So it's in this city today, it's that's good though, man. I'm glad honestly that you honestly really really enjoy what you do because you're always a really really positive person. So anytime I see you, man, I know some people who are officers and they're always stressed out and stuff, man. But you just definitely just roll. You're very open minded. You roll with the punches, and to be honest, like you really like what you do. And I think, like I said, that's why I think it's so important to really enjoy what you do in a career like that for sure. Because there's going to be times where it's rewarding, but then there's other times, where there's a lot of messed up people in this city, and it doesn't. I feel like maybe it doesn't always pay you back because of some of the people, some of the stuff you got to deal with. But it's very important to love what you do.
Yeah, some people they may complain, but because I remember before I got on the job, someone's like, why'd you be a firefighter? And I think I wanted to be a police officer instead, but firefighter sounds fun. You see them with the hoses, they put the fire out, they might break a couple windows because they have to if they have to get inside a house to rescue. When you see firefighters do that, that always looks fun to do.
Yeah, of course. I will say this: like anyone I know who's become a firefighter or who is trying to become a firefighter, it's very difficult in Philadelphia because I feel like police officers are more in demand. Obviously, there's crime every single second, every single day that happens in Philadelphia. Whereas like fires, it's not as common for a fire to break out as it is for crime to happen. And in Philadelphia, most of the people I know, at least my age, who have become firefighters, not everybody, but a lot of them were from legacy preference. So it's like, if you had a father, a grandfather, somebody who was already a firefighter, it's a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but I'm just saying it kind of nudges you a little bit further in that direction, if that makes sense. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I just know it for a lot of people I know that want to become firefighters, they've been on a wait list for a long time.
Yeah. Whenever I meet a firefighter, they seem to really enjoy what they do. Like I would say morale in the fire department seems very good. Like they always seem to enjoy what they do. So I always had good experiences dealing with the fire department in this city.
Yeah. Me too. I know a couple of people that are firefighters, great guys, and they agreed. Yeah, they love what they do. They absolutely love what they do. So yeah, no, I've had good experiences too. That's interesting. Um, I not so you thought about maybe being a firefighter at one point. Have you ever thought like had before like maybe police officers like EMT or anything like that, like anything that direction at all?
I might have thought about it, but I never took any steps towards it. I think at a young age, I wanted a job in law enforcement, so I think I rather pursue that. Even though sometimes I look back and I go, I might have been interested to see if I could have been a firefighter or not. I don't think especially knowing what I know now, I don't think I would care to be an EMT. They got to deal with people who are injured all the time. As a fighter, it'd be fun to hold a hose and put out a burning building.
That's some fires. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I thought about firefighter too. I never thought EMT, but I did think about firefighter. I actually took the test at one point for the Fire Academy. And yeah, that was a while ago. It was like I think when I was still in Temple. And yeah, man, I still didn't hear it. I think Dylan did as well. Dylan took it as well. Never heard anything though. It's tough. And with the police, I had a chance to do the academy, take the tests and stuff, and it is crazy, I will say, how far you move up, like in terms of like getting into the academy. Like if you have a degree, it's crazy because I moved up a lot, like just for submitting a degree, like when I had a bachelor's, like to kind of go in. Because honestly, I really did think about even after I graduated college, doing it, because I think me and you talked about it. I think it was like 2018, 2019, maybe before right before I started, in my career in finance, like 4 or 5 years ago. I think me and you talked about it. So it was always something that kind of interests me. But if I did it, I would actually, really do it because I enjoyed doing it. And I had to really think that I'm like, if I join the academy and I do all this, I have to make sure that I'm going to be happy with what I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
But I got my career in finance and everything, and then like I just kind of immersed myself in that. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's something I think about sometimes.
Oh my God, it seems like what you're doing now is working for you.
Yeah,
Podcasts and because don't you work from home a lot, or you work your own schedule?
yeah. So I mean, I can kind of flex my schedule, which is nice. I work from home. It depends on if I have meetings during the day and stuff. But I truly, honestly love what I do in that too, because you know what I mean. I'm working for like my clients, programs, different things I work for, and essentially helping people financially, which is what I enjoy. I really, really enjoy doing that. So that's why it's important. You need to like what you do. I know so many people that like hate their jobs and like so many things, and sometimes it's not their fault. You start somewhere and you might thought you were going to like it, and then I know with the office especially a lot, there's like a lot of office politics, and people are just hard to work with.
It's not always the job. It's sometimes some of the people you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
And that's for any career. If you go into an office and everybody hates each other, or there's a lot of favoritism, it doesn't make the job fun whatsoever. Even if it is a good job or it's a good paying job, I learned that over the years. Just who you work with really makes a difference for you.
Absolutely. They say, a bad manager or a bad boss, like I don't like to use the word boss, bad manager can really, really it could be a great job. And you might even like other people you work with, but if the manager is like a micromanager, they're a horrible manager, it can really make you hate your job. So that's important too. Somebody said, I'm gonna see if I can read it. They said you get any sleep. I'm trying to see who it is. I don't see the.
Are you talking about me or you?
I think they're talking about you.
Uh, some nights I have trouble sleeping, not because of the job or
With
anything.
Candace.
If I have to get up early, I'm more of a night guy. So with schedule shifts and stuff like that, it can be a little tough to switch back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. So it's not Candace, she said, asking Frank. That was Candace who asked that. Well, there you go. Yeah, no, the one thing you don't so you kind of alternate between like first and second shift right now, right? You haven't had to do third shift in a little while, right?
Yeah, so no, I work either early in the morning for a couple of weeks, and then I work from afternoon to like midnight for a few weeks, and I rotate from that. I was steady, midnight to early morning, but I haven't done that in a couple of years. So um, it's always nice seeing how all shifts work, because I know there was a point in time you had to do all of it, and as my grandfather once said, back in his day, you got all the piece of the action.
I can imagine. I remember when you said you worked third shift at one point. There was one morning where you were so tired and like you just wanted to like go because you had already been working like crazy hours, and there was something with like paperwork. It was like something for a
Yeah,
case, and like the person was just kind of giving you a hard time. Like with the
yeah, I
paperwork.
had to. Yeah, I got stuck an extra couple of hours. I was tired, and the one part that no cop likes about police work is the paperwork. Certain assignments can make the paperwork be real difficult. At the end of the shift one day, I had stuck writing all these reports, and I was still new at the time, so I was having trouble understanding what I was doing. Got stuck it up an extra couple hours, and yeah, but that was only one time, so hopefully I don't have to go through that anytime soon again.
That's good, man. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Hopefully, yeah, no time soon. If you had to take a certain shift, like first or second shift, is there any preference that you would have? Like you said, you're a night guy, so do you prefer like second shift, or would you rather work early and then just be done and be able to kind of enjoy your time later?
I used to like the second shift, because I like sleeping in during the day. But over the years, it is nice to be home at night. So, so I'll tough it out, getting up in the morning, and go home at night. Some days, when I work in the morning, I try to work out after work. I've been slacking the past week or two, and so of working out. So today I was a little tired today, so I didn't work out after work today. There was I only did this once so far. There was one morning where I got up at like 4 in the morning and worked out at 5:30 in the morning before work. I only did that once. That's pretty tiring for me.
Look at you, man. Look at you. Killing it, man. I was gonna say, I didn't. To be honest, full disclosure, I was actually, trying to get there today to the gym before work, and work ran over, and I don't think I'm gonna have time to get there now. So, I'll just go twice as hard tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotta just make it up somehow. Yeah, man. We have to get a workout in again soon. Candace had commented. She said, during your grandfather's time was probably better than now, like in terms of, I guess, violence, maybe crime. I don't know.
His era was a violent era too.
Yeah.
There are differences. Back in his day, they didn't wear vests. They didn't have radios on them. It was in the car. And from what he told me, the radios only worked in the car when the car was on, and it took about a minute or two for the radios to come on after you turned the car on. So if you were really rushing somewhere, you're going to have to wait a minute or two before you go radio anyway.
Wow.
So
Wow, that's interesting.
So if you get out of the car and have to chase someone, nowadays you got your radio right here. It might be difficult running and chasing someone at the same time. A couple of decades ago, if you got out of the car, no one's going to know where you are, especially if you were by yourself. So if you're in the alleyway and the guy overpowers you, no one's going to know where you are.
I can imagine, man.
So maybe that's why
Wow.
when people say, I'm just reading out the comments. So when people say, because I don't know how true it is. I didn't look at the statistics, but some people say police officers have been getting killed less and less over the years. That could be a tribute to radio for backup getting on location at the same time, and maybe the bulletproof vests Yeah, you get shot, you got a bulletproof vest. Yeah, it still hurts. You can still get injured, maybe die, depending on how bad the injuries were. But if you're not wearing a vest at all, you could probably die right on the spot, depending on where you
Yeah.
get.
Yeah. No, I can. Yeah, that's a big difference, man. A big difference. Yeah, you don't even really think about it until like, yeah, no, big difference. Candace had commented in. She said, "I want to be a dispatcher for 911. So hard to get information." I don't know if you know anything related to that of like how people. I'm not sure if you have any.
You probably have to go on the city website.
Yeah.
Just got to keep a lookout for any applications. That would be my advice, at least.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
I know a year or two ago they said they needed more. I don't know if they got any more, but in these type of careers, there's always a big cycle of people retiring or new people coming in. So just keep on the lookout and just be ready
Yeah.
when the application comes out.
Yeah. If we have any info here too at the podcast and we find anything, we'll send it to you for sure. I actually know somebody who's a dispatcher, so if I can get any information, I'll let you know. She also said, "How's your wife? Being a cop's wife, is she constantly worried and checking up on you?" That's actually a good question. I don't know if people always ask about like the spouse, how they are. You know.
Most days we text throughout the shift.
Okay.
I'm not much of a talker on the phone because you know
Yeah.
most days you can only get a word or two out of me. So I'll text. Yeah, she asks me how I'm doing. Yeah, and I text my family as well. Yeah, I like to text people throughout the day, let them know I'm okay and stuff like that. So, and I always assure, no matter what, I always assure people that I'm okay.
That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, man. It's I know you, man. You're not always a man of many words, man. Man of few words, man. You're a simple guy, simple man. And then she said, "Hey, Anthony John, yeah, your brother, Anthony." And she said, "Okay, thanks regarding the information for the dispatcher." Anthony.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
wait,
think I think Anthony liked my promotion for you being on here. So Anthony.
cool. Yeah, I haven't been on Facebook in a little bit, so I got to check everything out.
Oh wow, yeah, I tagged you in promo on it. You probably didn't even see it. Yeah, I put it on our Facebook group. I tagged you in it.
Yeah, I think Michelle sent me a picture of it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, what you saw like in the pictures when we did the intro, like at the end there's two images. Like I had like those two images on Facebook. I put some. I know you're not on Instagram either. I don't think so. I put some stuff on Instagram too, just like promoting the episode and everything like that. Cause yeah, man, I can't remember we were saying before. We're like, can't believe last time like an hour went by so quick. It's already been like an hour.
Yeah, because I remember a while back when I looked at the time, it said 20 minutes. Oh, 20 minutes already? Wow, that was fast.
Yeah,
Here
now
we
we're
are 57 minutes in, about to be 58.
yeah.
So, yeah. And sometimes I feel like I didn't even talk that much. I'm sure people in the comments will probably say if I did a good job or not later on.
Yeah, exactly. It's man. It's been good, man. Very free flow. But I wasn't even looking at the time, and then you just look up, and it's like, wow. She said, "What's your career? Do you ever think about how life went so fast? Does life go fast, like just in general, or in that career field?"
I wouldn't say fast, but I do look at it as, wow, I've been doing this for so many years. It seemed like the years went by quick because then when I think of certain things or certain people that I work with, like, oh, it was that long ago? And sometimes it might felt like it was yesterday or the day before.
Wow, I can imagine. I'm sure some days go faster than others. Almost in like any career field. Some days are unpredictable. If you have a lot of action, it's probably a day that goes very quick. If it's a little bit of a slower day, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But
no matter what, if you want your day to go by quick, do not pay attention to the time. If you start looking at the time every minute, it's gonna drag. Even if there's not much going on, or if you're busy. Even if you're busy, but if you keep looking at the watch, you're like, it's this time. I thought it was a little later. So
yeah.
try not to look at the watch at all. And that's for any job, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say like any job, keep your mind occupied. I think it's Candace too. She said, "Frank, you're awesome. Your dad's a rock star too." So I'll never forget that.
I'll tell him that. I like to hear that.
Yeah, man. Nah, this was a good episode. Time like flew by. Like I said, if we do like one in the future, like I'll have to get some of my other friends that are also police officers. Maybe specifically we'll do like Philadelphia or whatever. We can have like a whole episode on it. That'd be interesting, man. Have like a little panel discussion.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, man. This hour like flew by, but I hope you had fun, man.
Oh, yeah. Same with you.
Yeah, man. Nah, it's been fun. You said no guarantee, but you're thinking about maybe starting your own podcast one day, right? Like doing your own thing, maybe.
Maybe. I ain't tech savvy. Yeah, maybe stuff like this. Maybe I could have you as a guest one day or something like that.
Yeah, man. If you ever need help, I'm here, man. We'll collab and figure it out. You know what I mean? And set it up if you ever decide to. That's why I said I'm like I don't. You're just kind of dabbling right now and seeing, but
yeah,
hey,
just
man,
with the computer and stuff.
Yeah,
I could be like a caveman sometimes.
Yeah, nah, man. It's like that's all you do, man. You dabble, you learn, and hey, man, maybe you'll be doing your own soon too. She said. Candy said, "Looking forward to it, Frank." All right, you already have one fan that's
Well, that's sometimes that's all you need for the start.
Exactly, just a little audience to start and build and grow from there. Like I said, it's amazing, like where a podcast can reach. Like once you put it out there and you put it on live. Like I said, we have a couple people even from the West Coast. I've never even been to California or West Coast, but some people that found us on YouTube. I had one guy who was on here who was a guest from out in California. They kind of found us, and it's incredible, man. Once you put something out there on the internet for live and stuff like that, and if it trends or somebody finds it, you know what I mean. You can really connect with people from all over. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like a whole new age of pioneering through the web.
That it is, man. That it is. I had somebody from where was it? I think out in the Philippines find us that was like talking and collabing like with us like via email and stuff, which was cool. Yeah, man, it's just people from all over. So once it's out there, people can find you.
That's interesting. I know you've been doing this for some time, but I didn't think. And I'm not underestimating you, but I didn't think it went out that far yet. I mean, like to other countries.
Yeah. It was somebody who like emailed me. Like they also were like offering to like help with the channel and stuff too, like SEO and stuff. But they found us like through YouTube. YouTube's the main one. So like Facebook, we have the groups and stuff, but it's a group, so you join. But YouTube, it's amazing where people can find you on YouTube. It really is. So you start your own thing. You never know who might find you. You know what I mean? All it takes is like something to trend or go viral, and your content might blow up. Most people I know that are successful, they stay very consistent. If you ever decide to start, there's an Instagrammer who I follow. He has almost, I think, like 500,000 subscribers now. And like last year, and like he built his whole channel in like a year or two. And he DM'd me for something because he was like just offering advice for people. I was surprised he reached out to me, but he was just saying the biggest thing is just consistently. He posts content every single day. So if you do that, you never know what could happen. Consistency, knowing the right strategies, when to post, hashtags. I think hashtags are important, when to post, and you never know what might happen. Kind of amazing. But yeah, man. I think this was a great episode. I want to thank you for coming on, buddy.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. You're always welcome on here. And this was an interesting episode, man. We were able to get some good questions out, some good stuff. And like I said, next time we do an episode like this, we'll definitely probably try to get like a panel going, which I think will be cool. I know me and you know some similar people who, are officers in Philly. Yeah, that would be fun. Thank you for sharing your story, man. Thank you for just coming on and giving us your time tonight, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, this is episode 167. You can check Frank's. You could, if anybody who's watching this after, you can just listen. You can watch Frank's story. But Frank, yeah, man, it's been a pleasure as always. And so this was episode 167. Next week, guys, we'll be back with episode 168. What we're going to be talking about is going to be. It's been a long time since we've talked basketball, but we got 3 guests coming on to talk about the Sixers with Joel Embiid's return coming up soon and going into the playoffs and stuff like that. And then we have a really good episode after that, too, for episode 169. So we're seeing you guys next week, next Thursday. Again, Frank, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. You're welcome on this podcast anytime. So if you ever want to come back on at any time, just reach out to me, man. We'll collab. We'll set it up. And, man, thank you again for your service.
Thank you. Thanks for your podcasting.
Absolutely, brother. Well, that being said, guys, I guess we'll wrap up here unless you have anything to add, Frank, before we wrap up.
No, I think I'm all good. If anyone got any questions, leave a comment or a like, and we'll get back to you at a later time.
Absolutely. You guys can always comment down below, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. So if there's anything you want to comment, just comment down below, even if you're watching the rebroadcast of this. So that being said, guys, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Actually, if you celebrate, a happy Easter as well. It's going to be Easter weekend. And we'll see you guys next Thursday for episode 168. Have a good night, guys. And Frank, have a good night as well.
You too, bud.
Take care, brother.